Hi, I'm Robert Reeves, CTO of Datical. Companies today are exploring how to inject flexibility and cost savings into their database infrastructure using database as a service. One option is Microsoft Azure SQL databases. Moving applications to the cloud will be a huge benefit to companies as it provides an easy way to provision database instances and delete them when they are no longer being used. However, this flexibility and cost savings will never be reached without Agile database automation. If you are still using time-worn manual efforts to deploy your database changes, any benefit you get from database as a service will not be realized. You will simply trade one problem for another. Datical DB provides a fast, smart, and safe way to deploy database change to the cloud. Using Datical DB as an on-ramp to the cloud, our customers today can fully realize the benefit of database as a service. So let's see Datical DB and Microsoft Azure SQL databases in action. So here we have my Microsoft Azure console window open. And as you can see, I have a SQL database named Datical. This is an instance that I just provisioned, and so it's empty. Over here in Datical DB, I have the Northwind database running on my local machine. And if we select pipeline status, we'll see that I am caught up and deployed. Now what I want to do here is I want to take this development instance, the changes that have been applied here, and push that out to SQL Server in the cloud. To do that, I need to create a step in my deployment plan to point to that. So we'll call it Azure. I will select SQL Server. And here I'm going to put in the hostname information, username and password. And also I'm going to specify the database name. Now I can get this information from here, hostname, and of course the username and password, well, that's what you entered when you initially provisioned it. So now we'll go ahead and select test connection. We'll see that it was successful, and we'll select finish. Now when I select pipeline status, I'll see that development is caught up, but the instance that is in the cloud has undeployed changes. That makes sense because this is a brand new database instance and I need to push my changes out. So now that I've provisioned it, I'm going to select deploy, and that's going to push out all my changes. And as you can see, it's going through the change sets one by one, applying them to the SQL Server instance that's running in Azure. These are the same changes that I've deployed to dev. So the use case here would be, let's say you've done a fresh build and you want to provision a new testing environment in the cloud. You could integrate this with your build and deployment solution to automatically not only provision the database with Azure, but catch it up to the latest release. And here we have our Datical DB report. We'll see that all changes have been successful for the Northwind database. And we'll see that it deployed my tables, functions, triggers, views, those sorts of things. Now, if we go back to the SQL Server Management Studio and select refresh, we'll see that all my objects have been created.